So I just watched Lover by Ralph Sepe Jr. Sepe. So I just watched Lover by Ralph the Movie Maker. He is a filmmaker slash movie reviewer who's fairly popular on YouTube. I would say I'm a fan of his content. I watch stuff, I enjoy it. And when he was 18, he decided to make this feature-length film. Lover is about a young man named Howard, played by Ralph himself, and the film essentially follows him and his relationship with a woman who calls herself Delilah. He posted the first trailer back in 2016, which, it's around the same time I discovered his YouTube channel and started watching him, and he released the film in late 2018. Holy shit, that's a long time before the movie came out. This is going to be a spoiler review, so if you haven't watched this film, go watch it now. You can buy it on Vimeo. I'll put a link in the description. That's your spoiler warning. Let me just start off by saying that a lot of this film feels like a student film, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because honestly I expected that going in, especially because he made this film in his late teens and I saw the trailer, so I wasn't expecting like the highest quality film. And for the most part, I genuinely enjoyed Lover. I thought that the cinematography at times was pretty phenomenal, very interesting. There were a lot of beautiful shots in this film. Now, this is obviously great and showcases Ralph's talent, but it also kind of causes a problem, because at other times the cinematography is mediocre and sometimes it's just not good and bland. I noticed that the film would have these sequences of honestly very amateur looking camera work, and then it cuts to like this really gorgeous shot, and it just kind of makes me sad that the cinematography isn't consistently beautiful and engaging. Now, the entire film's in black and white, and if you look at the first trailer, the majority of that is in color. Now, to my understanding, every season was supposed to be color graded in a different way and have its own style, and there's a lot of times where you can see that it wasn't meant to all be in black and white. Or I would rewatch the trailer and I would think, that shot looks better in color. And I personally think it would have been a lot more visually interesting with its original intent. Yeah, I know that Ralph said that the black and white version fit the more noirish tone he was going for, but I think having it colored would have been really cool if done well. I mean, I do respect the decision keeping it black and white. It was still great, but I don't know. You see, a problem with the majority of the film is that it's a lot of hit or miss. Like, when it succeeds, it's fucking great, amazing, excellent. But sometimes it just kind of flops. For example, the soundtrack by Elias Ortega. Awesome. Huge props to Ralph for finding him, because that soundtrack just worked. There were moments in the film that felt legitimately tense thanks to the music, which is kind of hard to make me feel when I'm sitting by myself on my laptop watching this. And then there was the sound in terms of dialogue and sound design, and some of the sound mixing, it was either passable or bad. Like, for example, there's this one scene where they're at a party in a dorm, and the music is louder than the dialogue. Now, the sound quality of the dialogue in that scene isn't super great to begin with anyways, but, if the music had just been lowered, you would have still been able to hear the lines that were supposed to be said. And I don't think that's like a stylistic choice that you weren't supposed to hear the lines. Yeah, I don't think that's Ralph's intent to try and drown them out, because there are other moments in this film where he does intentionally do that. And it's really fucking great when he does that. Something I really enjoyed is when Ralph would be listening in on Delilah, and then it would just cut to black, and it kind of puts you in his mind. And I thought that was really interesting. I thought that was really cool. Which brings me to the characters, because in all honesty, Howard is the only interesting character and the only one I cared about. I didn't give a shit about anyone else. The supporting actors didn't really give good performances, and it kind of sucks, because there's a scene at the beginning with Delilah and the three dudes she's, I suppose, lives with, and the dialogue exchange between them feels natural. And then like 30 minutes later, we have this.
I'm really tired, so I just wanted to come say goodnight.
Where were you?
I was at a friend's house studying. We have a final on Friday, so...
You want to call or shoot a text?
I also can't tell if Ralph is a good actor or not. Yeah, I think he did well in this role, but I also couldn't stop thinking, hey, it's Ralph. Victoria Beaudoin did pretty well for what she was given, but I also don't think she was given that much. Look, I don't think this needed to be a feature film. It's about an hour and 20 minutes, and I feel like it could have easily been cut down to an hour. It's been about 3 days since I saw this film, and I really can't figure out what it's about or what it's trying to say, if anything. And, maybe it's just because I'm a dumbass. But here, the plot summary on IMDb says, as they spend more time with each other, they realize they've been building a relationship on lies. This sends them both on a path of self-destruction. I don't think I really got that from this film. Like, are Howard and Delilah in a relationship? Did she and Kyle break up? Why did she come crying to him? What is the point of the Raymond character? There's just a lot of questions I have, and, you know, maybe it'll be solved by a second watch, but also maybe I just don't get it. I would love to ask Ralph or talk with him to see why he made certain choices in terms of story. Final thoughts. I think the editing's really well done. I thought a lot of the choices made were pretty solid. Dialogue in terms of writing at times felt really good, and other times felt like it could have been improved. The film was made for about $10,000, which is a very small budget in terms of film, I know. But also part of me thinks that the way the film came out, it could have been accomplished with a lower budget. Overall, I'm looking forward to see any films that Ralph makes in the future. I would find it interesting instead of juggling all these roles, directing, starring, writing, DP. Instead of doing all that, if you were to just focus on directing, or just focus on a couple of those roles and perfecting that, but like especially directing, because I think that direction was the most promising thing in this film. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. So yeah, thanks so much for watching my review on Lover. Yeah, I have a lot of respect for Ralph for, you know, being able to make a feature film that young and releasing it. I think what I want to do on this channel is, you know, review student films or independent films I find on YouTube. I think that would be pretty exciting for me. I'm a student filmmaker myself, and honestly, watching all these films is pretty inspiring. So yeah, if you want to check out my work, you can check out Gooshums. I make films, have a weekly podcast, and it's kind of my main channel. I am also working on a feature film right now. It's called Monsters Within Us. You can follow that on Twitter at MWUFilm and on Instagram at Monsters Within Us Film. And while you're at it, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Cruz. And comment down below any suggestions for student films I should watch next. Cool. Bye.